Hey guys, how we doing? So another video from Swag Kage. I was just looking through his videos and seeing the title. I was very intrigued because I like Dragon Ball Super, but I'm not one of those people that would fight anyone or have an argument about why I like Dragon Ball Super. But I feel like Swag Kage to have a video called "I Do Not Like Dragon Ball Super," I think it's going to be quite funny and entertaining. So let's just get straight into this. So this is Swag Kage's "I Do Not Like Dragon Ball Super."
Look, man, I know I'm just heading down the rabbit hole again, and it's probably a bad idea on my part. I'll admit that. But I didn't expect to be making another video about Dragon Ball Super. I was just gonna leave the series alone after my second video because I didn't think any more needed to be said, and I didn't want to come off like a petty asshole. But unlike my first two videos, which I made completely for fun, I feel like I've got to do this one out of obligation. Because holy fuck, a certain segment of this community is cancer. Stage 4 terminal megaherpes, and it is thanks to them that I feel like I have to step in, say, enough is enough, and lay out in reasonable terms why there are a lot of people who don't like this anime. Now, the group of people I'm talking about are the people who can't seem to comprehend that there is another group of people who watches Dragon Ball Super but doesn't like it, right? These people will defend every single thing that happens in the show that's controversial, and that on its own, that would be totally fine. I would have no problem with it. If you feel the need to justify the way you feel, that's fine. But then, the people I'm talking about take it a step further by insulting people who continue to disagree with them. And dude, these people get fucking hostile. Like, they straw man your opinion, and then they'll attack you for allegedly having this shitty made-up viewpoint. And I guess when that doesn't work, they keep raising the stakes, trying to debunk your opinion. Like, at first, after Kefla happened and a bunch of people thought it was stupid that in base she was shitting on Red God Goku, a lot of the people defending Super said, well, if you don't like Kefla, you're not allowed to like Gotenks either, because Gotenks was fucking asshole. Blah, 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 blah. And I guess because that wasn't effective enough, they then jumped to, well, if you don't like Kale and Caulifla, you're just a sexist piece of shit. And I'm not making this up. This is something that people actually think. Like, so I'm not allowed to dislike female characters now? If it makes you feel any better, I don't like Zamasu either. Like, I can't believe people actually think this. And you know, I saw on Twitter somebody respond to one of the people spreading this around. He was like, no, that's bullshit. They just need more character development. And this guy, the guy that I said was promoting this idea to begin with, he responded to this criticism by saying, nope, science is wrong. As if to say that disagreeing with the notion that if you dislike Kale and Caulifla, you're sexist, is somehow disregarding science? Like, maybe before making such an extreme claim, how about you poll a bunch of women and ask them about their opinion on Kale and Caulifla? Because I can give you an example of one right now who doesn't like either of them, that being my girlfriend. And, like, the funniest part about all of this is that this guy attempted to use the fact that he did some scientific research to add some credence to his argument. But he didn't even, like, do you not see the irony here? Hinging your argument on a scientific idea or experiment, and then showing little to no understanding of the scientific method, which involves testing your hypothesis. You can't just go from hypothesis to theory or hypothesis to fact. You gotta do some testing in there. And it's not like these are the only two characters people have a problem with being overpowered. Like, remember when Krillin fought Blue Goku? And people were like, yeah, that's bullshit. That doesn't make any sense. That's an extreme level of ass pull. But, you know, I guess that's sexist against all men. I mean, I wasn't even keeping up with the show when I heard about Krillin fighting against Blue Goku and having a Kamehameha clash with him. But I remember saying when I heard about it, oh, hey, yeah, that's really stupid, because it was. And you know how people responded to it? Are you fucking retarded? Obviously, Goku wasn't using his full power. Oh, you're so gay, dude. I can't handle your stupidity. Like,
this is so true, though.
A lot of these people asked me why I was tuning in weekly to watch a show I didn't like when I wasn't even watching it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna step in for everybody and stand up for all of the people who have been putting up with this shit and explain why it is totally fine not to like Dragon Ball Super. Now here's a disclaimer. If you like it, cool. I don't care. I don't think you're a shitty person for it. But yeah, anyway, as for my opinions, let's start with the thing that everybody talks about. The power scaling. Now let me make it very fucking clear that this is by no means the only problem I have with Dragon Ball Super, and I don't personally think that bad power scaling is enough to ruin a show.
Yeah.
However, when it's bad enough, it can come pretty close, and Dragon Ball Super's power scaling is pretty bad. Now look, I don't think everything needs to be perfect, and I don't think power scaling should be the show's main focus. Toriyama's always given himself a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to power scaling his characters. For instance, you have Piccolo going from like second form Frieza level to just under Super Saiyan Vegeta and Goku level over the course of 3 years of training, even though he didn't go Super Saiyan the same way Goku and Vegeta did, so it's a little bit weird. And then there's the horribly inconsistent Zenkai boosts in the Namek Saga, which, let's be honest, are pretty hard to defend. But a few instances of nonsense from Dragon Ball Z should not excuse the same kind of nonsense going on in Dragon Ball Super. And on top of that, when this sort of shit happens in Super, it is way worse. Let me go back to an earlier example. Krillin fighting Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Obviously, Goku was holding back in this fight. Nobody honestly believes that Goku was going all out in Super Saiyan Blue against Krillin. But look, dude, it's not like Goku has to go Super Saiyan Blue when he's fighting against people. As a matter of fact, he didn't even jump to Blue against fucking Jiren. He started out in Super Saiyan, then went to God, then went to Blue. And if that's the case, then obviously going Blue puts some strain on him. Why do that if he's just sparring with fucking Krillin? And look, no matter how you try to justify it, the writers could have just avoided any problems by not having Goku transform. And if they insisted on having him go Blue for one reason or another, like maybe he wanted to make Krillin feel good, then fucking explain that! It wouldn't have taken 2 seconds for Goku to be like, you know, maybe I ought to go Blue against Krillin just to make him feel better about himself. I'll just have to be careful not to use too much power and suppress mine as much as I possibly can. But they didn't do that! It would have been the most obvious solution, so I don't want to fucking hear any bullshit justifications for this. The writers dug themselves into this hole, and it makes perfect sense for anybody to be upset about it. Like, as a matter of fact, I wasn't even upset about it. I just thought it was funny. It's ridiculous, the idea that Krillin is fighting against Blue Goku and tying with him in a Kamehameha battle. And this doesn't just go for Krillin. Like, every single member of the main cast in the Universe Survival arc got way stronger for no reason. It's not like they got a little bit stronger.
I can't wait for them to go about 17.
You can just say, well, I mean, maybe we overestimated the power of Super Saiyan God, because no, we didn't. Goku said it's stronger than Fusion. Which should also mean, by the way, that Super Saiyan God Goku should be way stronger than base Kefla. Since, like, I'm pretty sure when he said Fusion wouldn't even be enough to beat Beerus, he was talking about at least Super Saiyan Fusion. But yeah, all of these characters, without even acquiring God Ki, somehow get strength relative to Super Saiyan Blue Goku's with just a fraction of the training that he's undergone. And look, I'm not just being a dork who needs everything explained to me to have a good time, because like I said earlier, I'm fine with the show giving itself a little bit of wiggle room and doing things occasionally here and there that sort of feel like they're pushing it, but still adhere to at least some form of logical consistency, because that's the most important thing here. When none of the characters seem to abide by a consistent, perpetually enforced set of rules, it feels like anything can happen with no explanation, and it becomes really hard to get invested into things. It would be one thing if this was a gag manga the same way Dragon Ball was, but you can tell that isn't the case here. The writers are taking Dragon Ball completely seriously, and that's fine, but if you're gonna do that, you need to make sure that the shit you're writing makes sense. And in the arc where the series got the darkest, and the writers attempted to make the stakes the highest they have so far, the Goku Black arc, this is where shit tended to make the least amount of sense, and ass pulls felt the most commonplace. So like I've said multiple times, Dragon Ball Z wasn't perfect, and since everybody wants to play the comparison game where they say, well, Dragon Ball Z did this, so why are you mad about it in Super? Look, Dragon Ball Z may have had its problems, sure, but you can't look me in the eye and tell me that anything as mind-numbingly stupid as Future Trunks performing the Spirit Bomb with no explanation, absorbing it into his sword, and using this sword to cut an enemy in half that survived a full-power final Kamehameha from Super Saiyan Blue Vegito ever happened in Dragon Ball Z. It's just really annoying to see Goku and Vegeta, more so Goku, less so Vegeta, because he sort of cheated to get God Ki. I'm still not entirely sure how that happened, but anyway, it's just really annoying to see these two characters organically reach the level of power that they've gotten to, and then see everybody else just sort of train less hard and for less time, and still somehow end up catching up to them. You have 17, Trunks, Gohan, Frieza, like all of these characters getting so much more powerful in such a short amount of time. And you know, whether you like it or not, if Toriyama decided he wanted to make somebody stronger on the fly, he would always introduce a really cool plot device to do it. For Piccolo to catch up to Frieza, he had to fuse with Nail. To catch up with Android 17, he had to fuse with Kami, who was his other half. Or at the very least, the other half of his father, but still, you get the idea. For Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan, and Goku to catch up with Cell, they had to train in the Room of Spirit and Time. For Gohan to help fight Buu, he had to have his potential unlocked by the Elder Kai, and something similar to this had already happened earlier on in the series during the Namek arc, where Grand Elder Guru did the same thing to both Gohan and Krillin. Then you have other stuff like the Fusion Dance, the Potara Earrings, Zenkai Boosts, all this other shit that serves to, at the very least, attempt to justify power boosts throughout the course of Dragon Ball Z. But in Dragon Ball Super, it's just this character trained and they got way stronger, and it's like, what the fuck? Goku and Vegeta have been training way longer, and I'm pretty sure they've been trying a lot harder at it, so how is anybody able to catch up to them, or even come close to their level of power? And now a rebuttal I hear pretty commonly to this line of thinking is, well, everybody complains that Dragon Ball Super is just about Goku and Vegeta. Didn't you guys want other people to help out? Well, yeah, but shut the fuck up. I at least wanted it to make sense. And as I just explained, they could at the very least attempt to use some sort of cool plot device to make all of these characters stronger. But they don't even fucking bother. See, I knew back when Battle of Gods came out and it was being rumored that Goku actually absorbed the God Ki into his base form, I knew this was going to pose a problem if they attempted to continue the series from there. Because at that point, Goku had become way more powerful than the rest of the Z fighters, as if he wasn't already way too strong, and there was going to be no way for any of them to reasonably catch up to him. And as a result of that, we're faced with the problems I'm talking about today, where you have characters getting way stronger for no fucking reason, and it's annoying. Of course, power scaling isn't the only problem, like I've said many times. A whole bunch of shit happens without explanation in Dragon Ball Super, and it seems really counterintuitive. An example of what I'm talking about is the Potara Earring retcon, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people, even the people who like Dragon Ball Super, aren't really a big fan of this, but, like, the series introduced a way to solve the perma-fusion problem in the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc by having Shin and Kibito defuse using a wish from the Dragon Balls. And I, like many other people, assumed this was gonna be their get-out-of-jail-free card if they decided to use Vegito. That way Goku and Vegeta wouldn't have to share a body forever. After introducing this idea, for some reason, they decided to attach a 1-hour time limit to the fusion, which completely shits on the fusion dance. There's no reason to use it ever again. That's all, no. Or like when Goku said, yeah, fusion wouldn't even be enough to beat Beerus, implying that he didn't think Super Saiyan Vegito would be able to take him out, but he was confident that able to fight him after acquiring Super Saiyan God, yet for some reason, base Kefla is able to shit on Super Saiyan God Goku? The worst example by far is when they decided to reintroduce the Mafuba in the Goku Black arc. They had Goku use it to seal away the immortal future Zamasu, and then they just had him break free of the seal because Goku forgot the talisman. So it's just, like, why even fucking bother with this if you're not even gonna go anywhere with it? There are just so many weird narrative decisions, aside from the problems with the power scaling. And, like, really, I hate to sound like I'm repeating myself, but it doesn't feel like the show abides by any set of rules at all, and the writers feel free to do whatever they please. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even feel like the writers care a lot of the time. Like, it feels like shit just happens, and the writers are aware that the stuff that they're putting in the show doesn't make any sense, but they don't, like, it doesn't matter to them, because they're still making money off of the name of Dragon Ball. You know, some examples of nonsense, like when Vegeta was training in the hyperbolic time chamber, and he fucking blew it up from the inside, and just everything about Zamasu, particularly the way he went about acquiring the Super Dragon Balls. There are a whole lot of problems with this. Like, for one, he tracks down Zuno and asks him about the Super Dragon Balls while holding him by the throat, threatening to kill him. He has infinite questions at this point, right? And he doesn't think to ask, who is the strongest person I could think to switch bodies with? Could I use the Super Dragon Balls to become more powerful than Zeno? Are there any other sets of Dragon Balls throughout the universe that can grant me immortality? That way I can become immortal without wasting my wish on the big fucking planet-sized Dragon Balls as opposed to the little ones that I might be able to find elsewhere. Will I die if I attempt to go through with the Zero Mortals plan? Shit like that. And if he had a reason not to ask Zuno any of this, the writers didn't provide it to me, so I'm still at a fucking loss. Or Super Saiyan Rose, which just came out of thin fucking air, and at least in the anime remains completely unexplained. Or like Hit's nonsensical and very convenient convenient ability to perpetually get stronger through combat whenever he encounters somebody more powerful than him. And it's just like, I would at least appreciate a little bit of explanation. Just a little bit. Which brings me to my next problem with the series, by the way, because it indulges itself in exposition. Like, a lot of it. I'm not just talking a little bit, I'm talking extreme amounts of it. And yet, all of the stuff that it chooses to focus on when it has these lengthy-ass speech scenes are inconsequential and are things that people don't care about as much as the things that they want answered. Such as, why are Kale and Caulifla so strong? How is Krillin able to tango with Super Saiyan Blue Goku? Etc. It's just, you'd think if they're willing to cram all this dialogue into a series supposedly about action, maybe they'd be able to explain some of the shit that people have problems with. Just to give you an idea of how bad it is, let's take a look at the episode where Ultra Instinct Goku fought Kefla, the most recent episode of Super at the time of this video. 8 fucking minutes into the episode, they are still talking. It's just non-stop shots of characters being like, oh, whoa, they're so strong. This is the peak of Goku's power. Or Goku and Kefla trash-talking each other. This is supposed to be an episode focused on the two of them fighting. Wait, what's that? They finally started throwing fists in? Oh. See, here's another problem. The fight begins, but it doesn't remain kinetic for very long. You'll have a shot where somebody will throw an energy blast, and then look at this. It focuses on the energy blast for like 10 seconds, and then gets back to the two of them where another person throws another attack, and then it takes like 5 more seconds before another thing happens, and so on. And then, in the middle of this slow, pitiful excuse for a fight, they cut off the action for more fucking talking.
Talking from everyone on the side.
It's not even like it's anything important. It's some characters just talking
about how strong
Goku and Kefla are, and then Vados says something along the lines of, well, Kefla's become very strong and fast, but Goku's reflexes are just too much for... Like, yeah, no shit. You can see that yourself if you just watch the fight. Like, I can see a whole bunch of comments already. Like, you must just be a brain-dead action junkie if you can't handle talking in your anime. Like, no. I love Hunter x Hunter, and there aren't really a whole lot of fights in Hunter x Hunter, but the story's great. Super compelling shit. Not the case with Dragon Ball Super, unfortunately. Like I said, they're just telling you shit that you've already heard a bunch of times, or that you can clearly figure out for yourself if you're over the age of 3. Yet somehow I'm supposed to be invested in this? Oh, Kefla, I'm gonna defeat you now. You know, you're not Ultra whatever. I'm gonna take you. Like, nobody... I just want to see the two of them fight. If you're not gonna bother providing reasonable explanations for all of the nonsense that goes on in the show, fine, whatever, but at the very least, don't put a bunch of boring, needless dialogue in your episodes then. Like, why? Oh, but Dragon Ball Z had plenty of this. Not in the manga, it didn't, and guess what? I haven't seen the anime from front to back. I actually can't stand a Dragon Ball Z's anime. Dragon Ball Kai is a lot better, but the original Dragon Ball Z, I really just cannot sit through for a lot of the same reasons as I can't handle Super. Oh yeah, this also brings me to my next point. Guess what? I actually love Dragon Ball Super's manga. I think it's great. But apparently this isn't even good enough for people, because I'll be like, yeah, I like the manga better, and then people will jump me and be like, no, the manga's full of bullshit too. Like, Goku using Hakai? Come on, what the fuck is that? Like, if you have more of a problem with Goku using a technique he saw, and not even using it properly, maybe like one time, than Trunks using the fucking Spirit Bomb, absorbing the energy of like 15 people into his sword, and using this sword to one-shot Zamasu, something Vegito couldn't do with his full, absolute, maximum power. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm really not allowed to like the manga because Goku used Hakai in it once? Are you fucking kidding me? You can't win with these people. It's either you agree with them or you're a shitty person and you suck. Fuck, this is so stupid. Man, it's already been over fucking 18 minutes, and I'm just scratching the tip of the iceberg here. There's plenty of good shit in Dragon Ball Super as well. I'll definitely give it that, but for the most part, it just feels like a fan-made sequel to Z that completely misses the point of what made the original Dragon Ball and Z great to begin with. Like, none of it feels like it's really happening. There's a whole lot more I could get into, particularly the fact that Kale and Caulifla are shitty Mary Sue characters, but there are plenty of videos discussing this topic already, and I recommend you go watch them. Hopefully I've made a great case for the people
was a lot of fan
service,
wasn't it?
But by no means is this at the expense of the Dragon Ball Super fan base. As long as you're not being toxic and telling people what they are or aren't allowed to like, or insulting them for having an opinion that differs from yours, then we're all good and we can be friends. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. Till my next video, I'll talk to you later. Swagkage out. Bye.
That was brilliant. I like it. There were some valid points. Like, I loved Super, but again, like I said, I'm one of those people that just doesn't argue with people saying. But there are people out there like that. I like that. I know that. I see that online sometimes. Facebook groups that I'm part of, where people just arguing about stuff that goes on the episodes. It's like, come on, it's only an anime, you know. Don't have to take it that seriously. Yeah, that was brilliant. I love it when he starts ranting. It's just so funny. He's brilliant. So anyway, that was Swagkage's I Do Not Like Dragon Ball Super. I might check those other ones out. I'm not sure. Don't want to overdo it by having like a Swagkage video every day. But yeah, like I'm trying to do stuff about other channels and that. Like found Mother's Basement has got a few videos on Sword Art Online and that I might check out, and some other stuff. Eye Patch Wolf might do some more of those. Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. What did you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you have not already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys, yes, all of you guys, next time.